Chair, we know that knife crime is not a random event. It doesn't happen by accident. It is a consequence of decisions made by individuals who choose to carry knives and then to use them to brutally murder people. And what do? We light a candle, we hold a memorial service, we say things like, this should never happen again. And then we go on to blame lack of investment, lack of youth services, lack of youth clubs. But I'm not buying that at all. And whilst we're sat here in the Palace of Westminster, the families of the deceased must live with a life of pain, and the families of the attackers have to live a life of shame. Let's look at the facts. We know that knife crime in England and Wales has been rising for a long time. In 2014, there were just over 27,000 recorded offences involving knives or a sharp instrument. In the space of 5 years, that number had doubled to over 52,000. Last year, there was more than 50,000 such offences, an increase of 4.4% from the previous year. 41% of all homicides in 22 to 23 involved a knife or a similar weapon. I could go on and on. And these numbers point to hundreds of lives being lost to extreme, senseless violence. Each murder leaves behind a grieving family, friends and a community. And since saying I was going to have this debate here, I've been contacted by families who tell me they face unimaginable pain and loss, yet at the same time they feel like they've not received justice for their loved ones. That should fill us all in this place with a sense of shame. We cannot blame this on a lack of investment, lack of youth clubs, lack of youth facilities. Most of the blame, I believe, lies in this room and with every single politician in this palace, past and present. We are legislators, we can...
Picture this: Westminster, the so-called Mother of Parliaments, a chamber meant for calm debate and polished decorum. Then Lee Anderson rises, and the atmosphere instantly detonates. What followed wasn't routine political sparring. It was a moment that ripped through the room and left the entire chamber on edge. Before we get into the fallout, a quick note. Most of you are watching without subscribing. It takes a second, costs nothing, and makes a huge difference. So hit that button. Now, back to the chaos that just unfolded.
Securing this debate, having had to work with the families of victims of knife crime, it's a hugely important issue and very sensitive. Given the picture he's portraying, does he welcome the fact that the Violent Crime Reduction Unit and other efforts of public health agenda in London have seen a reduction in the problem in the capital city, led by our mayor in the capital, but also by individual councils investing to support families and individuals to stay out of crime?
Yes. Of course, we welcome any sort of policy in the capital city, and nicely that would reduce knife crime. So I thank him for his intervention. But we are all legislators, and if we can't reduce knife crime and save lives, then actually there's not much point in us being in this place. Some will say that we're doing enough. I'll definitely give way.
Savile Roberts.
Also securing this debate because it is immensely important.
So here's what unfolded. Lee Anderson, the former miner from Ashfield who has never been known for soft language, delivered what could be one of the most forceful parliamentary takedowns of the year, aimed squarely at London Mayor Sadiq Khan's record on knife crime, and the reaction was explosive. This was no routine exchange. Anderson didn't just criticize policy, he dismantled it piece by piece with statistics, comparisons, and a tone of controlled intensity that had Labour MPs visibly agitated. The figures he cited painted a stark picture, arguing that knife crime hasn't merely edged upward but surged over the past decade, and he delivered each number like a prosecutor building a closing case. Then he shifted focus to the political response: candlelight vigils, carefully worded statements, and sympathetic messaging, before posing a blunt question that left the chamber restless. What do symbolic gestures achieve when violence continues on the streets? The room erupted, with MPs shouting and gesturing as Anderson pushed forward, rejecting the usual polite choreography of Westminster and instead calling for zero tolerance, expanded stop-and-search powers, firmer sentencing, and clearer accountability from police and courts. He then turned to demands for greater transparency around weapon-related offenses, intensifying the tension further and prompting heated interruptions that forced the speaker to step in and restore order. Undeterred, Anderson doubled down, arguing for automatic custodial sentences for anyone caught carrying a dangerous weapon in public, framing it as straightforward deterrence rather than controversy. Within hours, clips of the exchange spread widely online, with debate erupting across social media as supporters praised the bluntness while critics challenged the framing and conclusions. The moment captured a broader clash in British politics, competing views over enforcement versus prevention, symbolism versus policy, and how best to tackle violent crime. Anderson's intervention and the reaction it provoked underscored just how charged that debate has become, because when Parliament shifts from measured discussion to open confrontation, it signals an issue that has clearly struck a nerve.